the video. Thank you for all your feedbacks. Please keep them coming. We are monitoring the chat, and we will address them along the way. So now, if you haven't been to the website before, you click on register, and then once you click on register, you fill in these fields, and you notice that there is an asterisk. Those means that it is a mandated field. You have to have that. Now, you put in your email address and you fill it. I think I explained that earlier. The only difference is that you didn't see the visual. So you fill this form and then you click on register. Once you do that, it takes you to this page. Now, on the page here, you will see that my name, James, appears on the top because I am signed in to the website. This is our office number here in Canada. We also have other contact information. This is our address, 5800 Ambler Drive in Mississauga. We have the Ghana office and their phone number here. And then we have the Nigerian office, the address and the phone numbers over there. So that is our contact information. Now, somebody is asking where our local office is. The local office is what I just showed. It is over there as it's been displayed. But if you want to check it later on, feel free, you go to our website and the address and the phone numbers will be there. Now, let's talk a bit about how to search for a car. Because the key thing is all of us will be searching. Now, to search for a car, there are two ways of doing it. You could put in the search information here. You put in the model and the year of the car. And then you click on search. So we will do that. Let's say we are looking for Lexus ES 300. And then let's say 2003. Let me just join these two, and then I hit on search. Okay. Let's separate the two. I didn't get any hit. There you go. So it gives you a list of cars within that category or whatever specifications you give. We have 83 of the ES300 on our website right now today. And that is the list we have over here. Also, you could go to the search box on the top here. It presents you with the search area here. You specify the car you are looking for. So you click on this drop down and then you type in the first letter of the car. So if I do L, it takes me to the L side. I select Lexus. You click on the drop down. You choose maybe, let's say, ES330. And then you specify the year. So let's say we're looking for 2003 to, let's say, 2006. And then after that, you click on search. Once you do search, it will just present you with a list of cars in the database. And we do have 217 of that type of the ES330. Now, if you want to just do a buy now, which I'll explain in a moment, the buy now is a fixed price. You don't have to go through the bid. You notice we have $25 for this car. That is not the price. That is what somebody has offered to pay on this car. But then the seller, which is the insurance company, has offered to sell this car for $1,199. So if you want to view only buy now cars, all you do is you put a check mark in here in the buy now section, and then you click on search. You notice that the cars that are displayed here is only buy now, and we have 12 of them in the system. These are the ones. So once you get a hit with all the cars you are looking for, there are two ways of doing it. You notice that when you put the mouse, you hover the mouse over the image, it gives you a bit of a detailed information in terms of the location of the car. Buying from a particular location is very important because a lot of people don't realize that when you buy the car, we move the car from wherever it is to the shipping port. If the shipping port is very far away, you can be sure that you pay a lot of money to tow the car. So the location makes a lot of difference. This car is in California. Averagely, it costs a minimum of $700 to move a car from California to Texas, which is the closest port, exit port within the US. But this car is in New Jersey. It's at Manville, New Jersey. So it means that the location is very good. So let's say we are interested in this car. We click on it. It takes us to the details of that car. Now, what you are also looking for is the day the car is being auctioned. It says 2 days, 9 hours. That means this car will be sold on Monday. And we see that information here on February 5th, Monday at 4 p.m. The time zone is Eastern Standard Time. That means it is 6 hours behind Nigeria local time. The location of the car is over here. That is also very important. The other area you should be interested in looking at is also the vehicle details. Now, every vehicle on our website has a unique identifier, which is the inventory number. So many of you will come to our website. They will say, I have seen this car. I like it so much. Could you please place a bid on it for us? The first question we ask you is that, what is the inventory number? So you come here, check this number, you give it to us. We will copy the number here. We plug it up here, and then we run a search, and we are able to see the car. And then the other information is the make and model, which is 2004 Lexus ES 330. The next thing is the odometer, which is the mileage of the car. The mileage, let me explain a bit. A lot of people want cars with lower mileage. It is good to have a car with lower mileage because the mileage of the car is an indication of the health of the engine. So some cars may be old, but if their mileage is low, it means the engine has not been driven so much, and so then chances are it is a good engine. But also keep in mind that most car owners in the US and Canada are on average every year, they drive 20,000 kilometers on a car. So then, if you are looking at 2004 Lexus, if this car is 12 years old, now that means that if we multiply 20,000 by 12, you should be looking around 200,000 kilometers. But sometimes certain owners don't drive as much. But then it becomes a problem when a lot of people, they come to the website and they say, I need a car with a mileage of, maybe the car is 10 years old, and they said, oh, I want the mileage to be about below 40,000. That is an unrealistic demand. And when you do that, you set yourself up for fraud. What do I mean by that? A lot of car buyers and car dealers in most of the countries out there, they buy the cars, they take it to their country because there are not much vehicle regulatory policies in place. Then they tamper with the odometer, and so you see a 2001 Toyota Lexus, then they said the mileage is 20,000. I asked myself the question that what was the owner of this car doing? Was he just putting the car in the garage and not driving the car, or what? So when the mileage is too low, it is not realistic. Chances are somebody has tampered with it. People will buy cars with mileage of 400,000. They temper it, they roll it back, and then bring it to about maybe 50,000. That car, if it was to be a human, that car will be a very old man who is about to die. So if they give a false impression that, hey, this car is only 40,000 it's just a matter of a couple of months or years. The engine will break down and you would have to change it. So when we are looking for the mileage, let's have that in mind, that it's not just the lower mileage, but also you consider the years of the car. If the car is too old, chances are the mileage is also higher. Also, there are cars that have highway mileage. Highway mileage is just cars that they drove it mainly on the highway and not city driving. So that the mileage will be high, but then the engine will be in a very good condition. So those are some of the factors that we have to look into when we are deciding on which car to select. The other thing is also the title of the car. The title will determine whether the car we are able to ship it outside the US. So if the title say is a bill of sale, or some of the cars, the title will say no title at all. That means we can't touch the car, because if we buy it, we cannot ship it outside the country. So part of the things we do is that when people give us a lot or inventory number that check this car for me, I'm interested in it, the first thing we ask them is that, we check the title. And if it is not a title that is good, we tell you it can be sent out. The next thing is the run and drive status. This one says it's unavailable. When it says it's unavailable, that means the car may not start, it may not drive. A car that doesn't drive could mean that the transmission, the gearbox is gone, and so it could be the engine itself is damaged. That is why the car is not starting. So we have to also pay attention to this part, that when it says run and drive, it has to show that the car runs and drives. The key status says it's not present. This means this car doesn't have a key. So if we get it, we can't ship it through Roro. We have to put it in a container, or if we ship it via Roro, then you have to pay extra charge for them to forklift the car at the port to move it onto the ship. The rest of the information, I will not spend as much time on it. It's just the color, and then the drive is whether the car is a four-wheel drive or a front-wheel drive. But also the engine is one thing you might want to pay attention to. So the engine capacity is 3.3 liters. The other thing is the fuel. A lot of people ask us that it says gasoline. Does that mean the car is using gasoline as we have it in Africa? No, it is gas. That means it is petrol. So let's pay attention to that. And one important thing, which is also a legal thing, is that the vehicle, you see, it shows as is. That means this vehicle we are selling it to you as it is. In some cases, we indicate where is. That means we sell the car to you as is and where is, implying that when we were selling the car to you, whatever be the condition of the car, as you saw it on the internet, is what we are selling it to you for. And wherever it is where we are selling it to you for. So then you don't buy the car for the price of $2,500 after we finish the purchase. Then you say, well, my expectation is that the car was going to be delivered at my doorstep in Lagos, in Abuja, for that price. No, this price is sold to you where it is. Now, the as is part is that we are selling the car to you in a condition of 156,000 miles of a mileage. We are selling a car to you that doesn't have the driving condition or the driving status as a non-runner. We are selling the car to you as a car that doesn't have a key. So then you don't buy the car, we ship it to you in Nigeria, it arrives, and then you turn around, you say, hey, I thought I was buying a new car. You guys brought me a car that doesn't run, it doesn't drive. No, the condition has been disclosed to you over here, and also as part of our legal requirement and waiver, we have put it here that the car is as is. Now, having said that, let's jump into, by our slide, the bidding process. A lot of us ask this question that I see a car, the price is about $25. Is that the final price? No, that is not the final price. There are two types of pricing. We have the buy now price and the current offer or the bidding price. I'll talk about the buy now price first. That's much easier. The buy now price is an amount, a fixed amount that the auction house could be, or even the insurance company that has given their car to Copart or to IAA, to Mannheim, to ADESA. These are the four major auction companies in the US. Copart, IAA, they mainly focus on accident cars. ADESA, Mannheim, and a few of the companies, they mainly focus on clean cars. So a lot of people also ask us the question that, do you only sell accident cars? No, we don't. Because when you come to the search box here, we have the salvage, which is the accident cars, and we have the clean cars. So if we take this Lexus, it looks like it is a salvage because it doesn't have a key, it doesn't run, and all that. And being salvage doesn't also mean that the car has been in an accident. It just means that there is something, it could be something wrong with it, or the owner of the car decided to give it to that salvage auction to sell it for them. So the insurance company that gives these big auction companies cars to sell, they set a price on how much they are willing to take for every car. So some of them, they don't set a particular price, or they set the behind the scene price. So they said that if you place the bid and it ends up being 5,000, accept it. If not, don't. Some of them, they will say, whatever be the bidding amount, I will accept it. Some of them will say, I want for this car, for example, this car, I want $2,500 for this car. So then the insurance company, the auction company will put that amount on their website. So if I am ready to pay $2,500, then I don't have to wait until February 5th, which is Monday, to buy this car. I just go ahead and I buy it. Once I buy it, the auction house will have to put their auction fees on top of it because they are providing a service. And so this amount is what is going to the seller, which is the insurance company. But then the auction company will also add a bit to it. Now, when you buy this car for this amount, that's not the end. We have to move the car from New Jersey at this location to the port if we are shipping by Ro-Ro, or to one of our warehouses if we are shipping by consolidated shipping. So if that be the case, then that means all those additional charges will come on top of whatever the price will be. So that is the buy now price. The buy now price is simply a fixed amount, ready cash, ready to go. You pay for it. You are willing to pay for it. No waiting. You don't have to wait to go to the live bidding. The second type of pricing is the bidding part. So for the bidding part, we have the pre-bidding and then the live bidding. The pre-bidding is when people make an offer on our website or any other website out there, depending on who they deal with, that they are willing to pay this much for a particular car. So let's say we made an offer, we placed a bid on this car. We said we want to offer $2,100. That $2,100, once you place that bid on that amount, on that car, let me go back. Once you place that bid on that car, it will send you an email that you have to pay your security deposit. The security deposit is what guarantees us as a company that whatever amount you are placing as a bid, you are serious about it and you are not just playing around. Because we have a lot of people who will come to our website, they will just place bids at random, and then come the day of the auction, they are nowhere to be found. So it is very important that we get the security deposit, so that if we bid the car and win it, the auction company will hold us responsible for placing a bid and winning. They want us to pay. And if we say we are changing our mind, they will say you pay a penalty. So the security deposit is the security amount we are holding in trust, that in case somebody pays a bid on a car, and they change their mind after we have won the bid, we will give that money to the auction company. Now then somebody will ask, does that mean that money is something I'm losing? No, it is going to count towards the final price. So if I give you, if let's say this car is 2,500, the buy now, you give us a security deposit of $400. Once we win it, we deduct the $400 from the balance, the total amount of the car, and then we send it. You give us the difference. Now, if before we place the bid on this car, for some reason you change your mind, there are times one client said that the wife is getting into labor. I don't know, but then he said, my wife is in labor, so I changed my mind on buying the car. Give me my money back. Immediately, our staff in Nigeria, Chioma, immediately refunded the money back to the person. And that was the end of the story. So the money is 100% refundable on condition that you don't let us buy a car and change your mind. If you change your mind before we buy the car, you have your money back. But if you change your mind after we have purchased the car, you will forfeit it. And it doesn't come to us as a company, we give it to the auction house. So once you place this bid, we take this amount and then we attend the live auction. The live auction concept is very simple. Whoever is willing to pay the most for a particular car gets to take the car home. So then what I mean in simple terms is that person A, person B, person C, they are all interested in this Lexus. The auction house says that the Lexus, we are starting the bid at 2,000. Person A will offer 2,100, B will offer 2,002. It keeps on taking rounds and taking turns. It gets to a point where the price gets to maybe 2,600. Person A said, okay, no, it's too expensive. I'm not going to buy it for that price. So at that point, person A will drop out. He will not bid again. Person C and person C will continue that I still like it. One of them will place 2,700. It keeps going 2,800. Then person B will say, no, I'm not interested. I'll drop out. So at that point, whoever placed the last bid and the highest bid, which is 2,800, maybe it is person C, gets to win the car. And once they win the car, they take the car with them, or they are supposed to move the car, which that is where we come in terms of getting all the logistics around moving the car from the US to you in Nigeria. So that is how the whole process of bidding works. There are times we win a bid, the auction house, the insurance company will put a hold on the bid and say that they are not willing to take that amount. They want more money. When that happens, we communicate it to the buyer, the client, that, hey, the auction house is not willing to accept this amount. So they said they would rather want maybe 3,000 for this Lexus. Should we take it or should we reject it? They said, okay, I'll take it. We offer the auction house that amount. They give us the car. Somebody will say, no, I don't want it. Give it back to them. Then in that case, we will reject the bid. Now, then the question you are asking is, do I lose my deposit? No, you don't, because we didn't win the bid. They took the car back and we let you know. But if we win the bid, they give it to us and you change your mind, that is where the consequences of losing the money come in. The next thing is payment. We will talk about payment briefly, and then we'll open the lines for questions and answers. The payment structure, in a way, I have tagged on it. First things first, you make a deposit once you are interested in any car and you are serious about it. The deposit is 10% of the value of the car, or $400, whichever is maximum. So for this car, you are going to make a deposit of $400, because when you make a deposit of 10%, it will be $250, and $250 will not be enough to cover for the penalties should we back out from the purchase. So it is $400, but let's say the price of the car is $10,000. You pay 10%, which is $1,000. Now, how do we take payment? Our payment process is very simple. We take payment through a local bank in Nigeria. I believe it is Fidelity and EcoBank. We have accounts with these two banks. Now, we also take wire transfer in Canada here. So, if somebody's phone is off mute, please, if you could go on mute for us. So, if you are interested in buying this car, you tell us that maybe bid on it for 2,600, or just go ahead buy the car. You first of all make a deposit before we take any action of purchase. Once you make the deposit and we buy the car, we confirm it back to you that we have won the car. But once we win the car, we calculate all the other charges and then we deduct your 400. Then you are supposed to pay the balance within 3 days, which is technically 72 hours. That 72 hours is the time the money is supposed to get to us in Canada, so that we make the payment to the auction house, because they demand their money within 72 hours. So if I think one of us, we have a baby crying. Please, if you could put it on mute, please, for us. So once we win the purchase, at that point you make the payment and then we give it to the auction house. Once we do that, then we are allowed to move the car. Now, in an event where we don't get the payment in time, the auction house will charge us penalty for paying the money late. And the payment depends on the price of the car. And also, once we miss the payment, I think after 4 days, the auction house will also start charging us storage for buying the car from them and keeping the car in their yard. Every day they charge $40, and some of the auctions charge, I think, $20 to $25, but most of them charge $40. So if they charge that amount, all these charges will be passed on to you, the buyer. And so it is very important that after we buy the car, we do that due diligence and make the payment in time. Once we receive that payment, we forward it to them, and then it takes us to our next step, which is shipping. So immediately we send out the car. We send a driver to go and pick up the car. Now, any car in an auction is not roadworthy. It doesn't mean the car is damaged. It just means that the car doesn't have insurance on it. The car has not been certified to be driven on the road. It doesn't matter whether the car has been in an accident or it's a clean auction. It's just that you can't drive it because it doesn't have what it takes to drive. If I buy a car in Canada here, I have to take it to the DVLA, register it, have a license plate, put it in my name, check the safety before the car will be fit to be on the road. When a car is with an insurance company or any of these car dealerships, they don't have all these papers in place. So because of that, we have to send somebody, a tow truck driver, whose towing truck is licensed to be on the road and is allowed to carry goods with it. So he will tow the car, move it to the warehouse, and then we load it with other cars, or we will take it to the shipping yard directly to any of the exit ports in the US, and then we ship it. So, Ro-Ro shipping. Ro-Ro shipping is the concept of shipping a car directly through a vessel. So we drive the car or we forklift the car. That means we lift the car with a forklift and then we move it to the ship directly. Once the ship leaves the US, it comes directly to the various ports. It goes to Lagos, it goes to Tema, it goes to all the other locations and deliver the car. The Ro-Ro shipping is just a straightforward approach. We move the car from the auction house, we send it to the port directly, and that is it. Sometimes there are certain Ro-Ro lines, their service is very terrible. One of them is called Salon. If you have heard of them, Grimaldi is excellent, but Grimaldi only takes clean cars, non-runners, running cars, run and drive cars. Salon takes cars that are damaged and accidented, what happens is that once they move the car to the warehouse, to the port, they keep leaving the cars behind. So they are supposed to ship the car today. They will say, we missed the deadline, we will ship it next week. And then the next week becomes 1 month. Sometimes 1 month becomes 2 months. It is quite frustrating. So we are trying to avoid this frustration by way of trying to consolidate the shipping. That means we put everything together in a container and then we ship it directly outside. If we are doing that, it means that we have to be able to have as many cars, to a maximum of 4 cars in a container, to be able to give you a good pricing. So that is one thing that could also cause a form of a delay, because until we get the orders for 4 cars, we may not be able to ship it immediately. Sometimes we will ship it with 3 cars. Sometimes some of our clients will say, hey, I'm in a hurry. If you have 2 cars, I'll pay the difference in the shipping. Just add those 2 cars to a 40-footer container, ship it out, and I'm okay with it. If that's the situation, we take the person by their word and take the payment, and then we make the shipping arrangement. Consolidated container shipping. I think I have touched on it in a sense, that we tow your car to one of our warehouses in the US. We do have warehouses in New Jersey, we have one in Georgia, we have one in Texas, and we have one in California. So we move the car there, we put it there until we have 3 other cars. Sometimes, of course, your car may be the last one because we have other 3 cars sitting there waiting. So once we add the car to it, then we will load it in a container, we send it to the port, and then we ship it. So that is how the difference between the 2 shipping, the consolidated container shipping, and then the rural shipping. So I will end our presentation here, and now we will open the lines for questions and answers. I think a lot of you have asked a few questions that some of them, I believe, have been addressed along the way as part of this presentation. But I see one question in the chat from Okay, and it says, for the cars you post on Facebook, are the prices you put there the buy now price, or are the cars still being bid for? A very good question. Okay. The prices are buy now. So whatever price you see on Facebook, it is just a buy now price. It doesn't change. The only thing is that those buy now is available to anybody to purchase at any given time. So if you wait, there are times people will send us the link and say, I've seen this car, or they send us the image on WhatsApp that I'm interested in buying this car. But then it will be like probably 1 week after we posted that car. By then the car will be sold. So all the ones we put on Facebook are buy now prices. Let's open the lines. Any questions? We are taking questions. If any of us have questions, we can now go off mute and ask our questions. I have a question that was sent to me earlier within the week as part of the registration, and I will touch on that as we wait for others if any of us may have questions. One of them, the person says that which of the websites is safe and secure to order or buy cars from in the US or Canada? I love the question, and I think I'll say AuctionCarz is the safest. I say that because, well, of course, I work for AuctionCarz and we are genuine, so I'll say that. But also, companies like Copart is very good. A company like IAA is a very good company because they are major auction companies in the US. A company like Mannheim, if you are interested in buying a clean car, they are also very good. And a company like Adesa is also legitimate. We just have to be careful with some of the other companies out there. A lot of people are scamming people. They are just interested in running away with your money. They take the money and you don't hear from them. There are instances people have tested us in our Ghana operations. A guy was a military officer. He sent his wife to give a deposit on Friday evening, and then on Saturday, he came back and said he changed his mind. He is coming to take the money back. He was testing to see if we will give the money back to him. Fraudsters don't give money back. You give money to a fraudster, you are done. He came back to his surprise. We gave the money to him all in one piece. The following Monday, he came back and he told us that I was just testing you guys. So he made his purchase and then the deal was closed. We have instances in Nigeria. I think last week we refunded somebody's deposit to him because for one reason or the other, I think he said he didn't have enough money to top up to make his purchase. We gave it to him. So we get instances like that. But the key thing is that make sure you are dealing with a legitimate company. And part of the reason to alleviate our fears is why we also opened an office locally in Nigeria. People come to the office unannounced. They show up just to make sure to see if we are really real, the address is genuine, if we are operating, if somebody is in the office. And once they get the explanation, they feel comfortable. I have one question again from Mr. OK. It says, how much does it cost to ship from there to Nigeria? Our shipping cost $890. That is just the ocean freight from the port of US to the port of Lagos. If the remaining aspects like towing and all the other things, we don't factor that in for now. Why? Because we don't know. For example, this car, if you ask me how much the towing is, I'll be able to tell you. It will be around $250 to the next nearest warehouse. But then I can't tell you of how much it will cost for any other car because I don't know where the car is located until you give me the inventory number. Mr. Oluwasangun has asked the question that, can you please explain the process in how one can clear the cars safely? I mean, the do's and don'ts to avoid the customs and police. Very excellent question. The clearing process is very simple, and probably I may not be the expert at it for the local Nigeria port system. But what I know though is that we have an agent that we work with. Once your car, 1 week to the arrival of your car, if you have anything owing on the car, we reach out to you and we tell you to make your payment. Once you make the payment, we process the telex release. The telex release is the document that will authorize the port to release the car, because what happens is that the shipping line, until full payment on the car, on the shipping is made, they will not release the car to you. So once we finish all the payments, we tell them that, hey, give us the document to show to the local port. Once that happens, they give us the telex release. We send it to our local office. They give it to you or give it to the agent, and then the agent will take it to the port. Once they do that, they show it to them, and then they allow them to process the documentation and they clear the car. Now, if there are delays in your payment, it may affect the process of the telex release. And if that happens, usually most shipping lines give you a grace period of, I believe, 7 days. I think even in Nigeria, it's only 4 days. You have only 4 days to pay for the duty of the car to clear it from the port. If you delay, they charge you a charge they call demurrage charge. I'm sure we are all familiar with that. So the demurrage is calculated in dollars, and then they convert it into naira. That can be very expensive. So it is important that we make our payment in time so that the process is done. Now, some people also ask us the question that how, if let's say I'm in Abuja and I want to buy with you and the car is coming to Lagos, how do I clear the car? Well, we work with our agent to make sure that he clears the car, he keeps it, and then you come and pick up the car. But then somebody will also say that, okay, Does that also mean that if I have my own agent and I'm not interested in using your agent, I'll be stuck with your agent? No. We also give you the option. If you are interested in using your agent, you are more than welcome to do so. So that is what I have to say on the pot and the clearing charge or the clearing process. And somebody just put a question in the WhatsApp group that can AuctionCarz do clearing for us? And I think I addressed that already. It's a yes. And he said another person is saying that are your cars with higher mileage, or what does it say? Are the cars with the high mileage advisable to buy? I would say yes, depending on the condition and the situation. So, for example, if you are buying a 2010, okay, let's say 2015 Lexus ES 300, and the car's mileage is around 180,000, I will not advise you to buy. The car is too new, and so the mileage, by the time you use it for a very long time, the car will be weak. But if the mileage is like this Lexus here, 2004, if the mileage is around even 220,000, it is perfectly fine. And especially when the cars are 4x4, or I think we call it SUVs here, and I'm sure it's called SUVs everywhere. Then in that case, I think you call it Jeep mainly, Jeep in Nigeria by Nigeria terms. So if it is a Jeep, then the engine is even more stronger. So for the Jeep, it runs longer. I know of somebody using a 2007 Acura Mdx. I think the mileage is around 250,000. The car runs very good. There is nothing wrong with that. So I will say yes, depending on the year of the car. And it also depends on the condition. And I will also caution you that if the mileage is too low and the car is too old, be careful. But a lot of people rather prefer that. A 2004 Lexus, they will say, I want the mileage to be 40,000. Well, it could be that the mileage was rolled back. We have a question from Mr. Yusuf in our group chat. He says, how can you have idea of customs fees so as to calculate the total budget for a vehicle? Good question. So for the customs fees, our local office in Nigeria help our clients with that. Many a times people will call the office and say, I'm interested in this car, how much is the duty? They will contact our agent and ask them, and then they will give you a feedback on that. So if you ever need any quotation on any duty or customs fees, feel free and contact our local office. Any more questions? We can go off mute and ask our questions directly through audio. That's also an option. We have another question in the chat. How does one pay, in Naira or in dollars? Payment is made in both. You could pay in Naira to the local office, but you do it with the prevailing dollar rate in the dollar equivalent. So whatever be the rate, you just calculate it. Some people also go to the black market to get a good rate, exchange it in dollars, and then they pay it in our dollar account locally in Nigeria. Any more questions? Any more questions before we wrap up? Okay, so it looks like we don't have any questions, which is awesome. We did well with our time as well. Oh, I have somebody online. Is this Mr. Okay? I see your microphone is on. Please go ahead.
Okay. I remember you made a statement concerning buying from somewhere close to the ports.
Yes.
To avoid excessive fees for transportation.
Yes.
How do we exactly know the places to buy from that are close to the port? Do you have a list of auction offices? where that are close to your port, so that we just know that when we're looking for cars, we only target those particular places.
Great. Yes, we do. There are places like New Jersey, and so
Okay.
first of all, usually when people find a car they are interested in, we
Okay.
encourage them to send us the lot number.
All
Once
right.
we get the lot number, we check the location for them and we calculate the cost of towing from that place to the
Okay.
port or to our warehouse for them. So they get to know whether they are interested in that amount or not. In terms of
Okay.
your question about where to buy, which location, places like New Jersey is very good. New York is
All
very
right.
good. Texas is good. Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. We have a list of them that usually, um, once people give us the lot number, we are able to tell them. And also, you see, we have a shipping code here.
All
When
right.
yes, we have this shipping code. Now, this will also allow you, which in 2 weeks we will have another session to handle how shipping works in details. But then this code will be able to help me. Let's say the system seems to be down. Oh, unfortunately. But the tool is down for now. But typically, you could put in the name of the city where you want to you ship the car from. So let's say you bought the car in New Jersey and you want to ship it through New York. You can just click on change locations and then you put New York there. The system will automatically calculate the distance from the location of this car to the new location that you specified, and it will spit out the total amount to you. Oftentimes, this value is very high, but at least it will give you some general idea of how much the shipping is going to be. Then, usually, our shipping is around probably 50% lower than whatever this third party company shipping will be. But then, these main major ports that I gave New York, New Jersey, um, Texas, Georgia, Florida, these 5 places, they are always okay to buy from. A place to avoid is California. California is very far. It takes long for their cars to arrive to any destination. And it's because the shipping system is such that they don't have an exit port directly there. So they will move the car to the train, they load the containers. And so we don't do Ro-Ro from California, by the way, because there is no ship doesn't go directly to California. But then we do consolidated shipping. We load the car, we put it on a train. The train moves, it takes about a week to two to get to an exit port. Now they can load it into a vessel and then the vessel will leave. So when you take a place like New York, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for our cars to arrive in Lagos. But when you ship from California, it will take nothing less than 8 weeks to probably 10 weeks for the car to arrive. So all these are things that we have to put into consideration.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I would like to ask, you made mention of having about 3 to 4 cars in a container.
Yes.
So, but if I can't wait for you to have about 3 or 4 cars, if I want to pay for the container, how much will it cost me?
You will just pay the difference of the extra one car space. So our shipping is $890 per car based on if
Okay.
we put 4 cars in a container, right? So
Yeah.
if let's say you bought 2 cars, you said I don't want it to be 4, just ship the 2, then you are just going
Yeah.
to pay for the entire container and it will cost you that much. If we have other cars like you are asking, there are 3 cars, but you can't wait. You just send the thing. I need it now. I need it yesterday. No problem. With that, what we'll do is that the remaining extra space, because the others are willing to wait, and maybe one person is not willing to wait, whoever is not willing to wait will bear the cost of the extra car.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Mr. Olufin. Any more questions before we wrap up? All right. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us online today. And we will have another session in 2 weeks. It is not going to be a general overview. It will be specific. It's going to be either on payment or on shipping and getting deeper into the paperwork and all the other tedious things that happens, and also even possibly the getting into details with the clearing aspect. We will advertise that session online. We will also make this recorded video available. Some of you have already requested for it, so we will edit it and then put it in the chat group, or we will post it, or we will upload it online and send you the link. But the bottom line is, we will send you the link for you to join. So I mean, for you to watch and do the playback. But then in 2 weeks, as I said, we are going to have another session. So thank you so much. Thank you for all your time, and we hope to do business with you in the near future. Thank you.